Hey guys, it's Shalana here. Welcome to the Binge Zone. On today's video, we're going to talk about the Netflix original series, The Witcher. And guys, ever since I heard about this show, ever since I've seen the promotional work, Henry Cavill in his wig, I've been excited for The Witcher. But does it live up to the hype? I'm just going to cut to the chase. This show was awesome. Like, I can't describe how great this show was. I was super excited and it lived up to my hype. When you talk about great characters, the show has it. A great story, the show has it. The medieval settings, the magic, the fighting. Don't even get me started on the fighting, the political intrigue. This show is amazing from start to finish. I found myself engrossed in the storyline, engrossed in the plot, engrossed in the life of these characters. And this is helmed by Henry Cavill as the Witcher, Geralt of Rivia. I have to say, Henry is the Witcher. Henry Cavill is the Witcher. After watching this, his presence, the way he portrays the character, I found myself really enjoying the character of the Witcher. The Witcher himself, his whole story, I don't want to go too deep into it because this is spoiler free, but just his character and the way he's characterized, the strong, brooding, silent type, it works. It works in the story, it works in this context, and he's badass. Like, he oozes and drips badassery just walking into the scene, fighting monsters, fighting humans. Just every time he's in combat or when he's kind of interacting with the humans, you see that he's a more layered character. So as the story progresses and as the season goes on, we start to learn more about his character, we start to understand him more, and he's deeply layered, kind, gentle guy who's been thrust into this world, and he just has to do what he has to do in order to survive. Henry Cavill is a really strong choice and was a great character lead, and Geralt would have to be my second favorite character because Yennefer. Yennefer. I love this character of Yennefer. Anna Chalotra really personifies the character of Yennefer. Like, I found myself completely believing in her transformation, even when she was Piglet at the Academy, all the way to the last episode. Her characterization made her my favorite character. Her motivations, her thought processes, it's in line with me. And you would think having Henry Cavill, Superman, a movie star of his caliber as the lead would be the one doing the heavy lifting of the show. But no, it's Anya and her characterization of Yennefer. Yennefer is by far the most interesting character here because unlike The Witcher, her character is confusing and it's hard to grasp just who she is. So that works. Her characterization works because it's a mystery to her. She's interesting. Her thought processes are interesting. The Witcher is interesting and sympathetic, but she's interesting in a way that you kind of want to see why. Like, you understand why, but why? Like, it dives deep into her character, and I loved it. Her as Yennefer and Henry as the Witcher, match made in heaven. Those two carried the bulk of the show, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I will say though, one part that didn't, or one of the major three characters that I didn't like so much was Princess Ciri. And that's not because of the actress Freya Allen, but it's mostly because of her characterization. I know why she's important to the story, and I know how she plays her role later on, how she becomes bigger. But every time I felt like we were following her, the pace of the show kind of slowed down because she wasn't really part of the main action. Granted, she is the focal point of the story, but her characterization isn't as interesting yet because she's still in the early development stages of the character of Ciri's life. So it's not that interesting when you have Geralt and you have Yennefer rising through their lives and their journeys and their names are being known across the continent. She herself isn't the strongest of the three, but I could see why she's important because, again, she is the focal point of the plot. But overall, the pacing of the show, phenomenal. I love the fact that the show doesn't really hold your hand when it comes to explaining the characters, the monsters, what needs to be done, what's going on. Like, episode from episode, like, I don't want to dive too deep into spoilers again, but time itself is weird in the show, and and that's all I'm going to say. It's weird. But the show doesn't hold your hand. Like, you don't know how much time has passed, so you as the character have to use your mind to actually understand and grasp what the show's telling you. But overall, this show is worth the hype, man. And I know the inevitable comparisons to Game of Thrones are coming. Is this the next Game of Thrones? Oh, how does it compare to Game of Thrones? This is not the next Game of Thrones. This is a show that stands on its own. The Witcher needs to be The Witcher without being bogged down by Game of Thrones, because you're gonna get a lot of lazy critics that say this is the next Game of Thrones, or this compares to Game of Thrones, because they don't let their own minds formulate the plot, because they don't let their own minds formulate their own thoughts about a current show, so they have to kind of compare it to something else, because, you know, they're lazy. But this show itself stands apart. Granted, medieval times, magic, dragon, sure, Game of Thrones, right? But fuck it, no. This is an epic fantasy, just like Game of Thrones was an epic fantasy, just like Lord of the Rings is an epic fantasy. They don't have to be compared to one another. And come on, Geralt of Rivia, Jon Snow, Geralt is kind of up here in badassery. Daenerys, Yennefer, come on. It's no comparison, and I'm not comparing it. That's just lazy criticism, and any critic who goes deep into the comparisons is just being lazy. Experience the show, watch the show, it's epic, you're gonna enjoy it. I rarely give the shows 10 out of 10s. I haven't given any show or movie a 10 out of 10 in my book, and The Witcher is this close, 9.9 out of 10. Like, I don't wanna give a show a perfect score, but it's damn near right there. Anyway, guys, this is Shalana from the Binge Zone. If you liked the video, definitely give it a thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button if you guys have not already. And until next time, binge on.